Okay, now students, today we are going to study about evaluation-based approach in English teaching or any other subjects teaching. What is evaluation-based approach and how it works and how a teacher is evaluating the students when the teacher has completed the teaching task. We are going to discuss about it. And I hope you are going to listen it very carefully, and as well you will be prepared yourself for a good discussion, for good question answer session after I complete my talk. So let me share my PPT, and first of all I would like to know from you that what do you understand by evaluation term? What is it? Evaluation approach based lesson planning, if I'm talking about it, then how it is? What kind of step I'm talking about?
Maybe analyzing the learning of the learner.
Okay. What else? Now, today I'm going to share a Word document with you all. So please just look at that very carefully. And after that, I'm going to share what in what way evaluation approach is working in operational form. So let's have a look on this Word document. Can you see that, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So students, it's about evaluation based approach. I have shared it so that you can also see it when I'm reading it. So you can also read it simultaneously and understand it. So when we discussed about Herbertian lesson plan, we saw 5 steps there. Okay. So now it's about evaluation based approach lesson plan, and definitely students, we are talking about an evaluation which takes place after the content has been taught. So Professor B.S. Bloom gave a new concept in education known as evaluation approach. He has given this, B.S. Bloom has given this term evaluation approach. According to him, evaluation is a continuous process, it never stops. It has 3 components: behavioral changes, learning experiences, and teaching objectives. I repeat, behavioral changes, learning experiences, and teaching objectives. Now, steps of evaluation approach of lesson planning consists of the following steps. Now, again, we are having some steps in this type of lesson planning also, how the lesson planning is formed. Again, recapitalization. See, now these steps are given to you in reverse manner. I'm just scrolling down and you will see that preparation part is the 6th part, and then 5th part presentation, and then 4th comparison or association, 3rd is generalization, application, recapitalization is the first one. Okay, so here is the thing that I am actually prepare evaluation based approach lesson planning. So I'm going in reverse manner. Okay, so first of all, I'm just asking from my students to revise those things that is in their mind which I have already taught. So this is the last step in Herbertian step of lesson planning. The teacher ascertains whether the people have understood and grasped the subject matter or not. It is generally done by one of the following ways: asking suitable questions on the topic taught and asking pupils to label the unlabeled sketches. Just try to understand that what we are doing, we are evaluating now student. Okay, we are evaluating our student. So first of all, recapitalization is very important. When we have started asking question, only then our first step has started. Now we proceed towards the application of the knowledge. It is said that knowledge which is not used will soon fade from the consciousness. It will go away. It will not be in your mind for forever if you are not going to use it. So it is necessary that the generalization may be applied to the solution of particular examples in application step. This application serves the purpose of revision and recapitalization of principles just learned. The main aim of is to fix new knowledge in the minds of the pupils. Thus, knowledge becomes clear and meaningful. Now, in the second step also, we are giving some work to our students, which is on application based, and students are learning how they are using their knowledge, what they have just learned. Okay, now it is the time of generalization. Generalization is an inductive lesson, the result of the agreement of facts after observation and comparison leads the pupils to a certain conclusion which should enable them to frame a general law or principle. The pupil's generalization may sometimes be incomplete and wrongly stated. The teacher should help them to complete and correct. Now understand one thing, we have our grammar lesson plan and we have their PGD style, isn't it? Do you remember or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Presentation, generalization and drill.
Generalization.
It means we are teaching our students from inductive deductive method and what the examples we have presented in front of our students. We are now generalizing that. And when we are presenting the examples in front of our students, the students are giving answers, and in that way also we are evaluating, we are recapitalizing, we are recalling, we are recognizing their knowledge. So when we are generalizing, it is the part of evaluation also. So this is something evaluation based approach lesson plan, how we are going to do that. Then in fourth step, comparison or association. The new ideas or knowledge to be learned should be compared and associated with already known ideas and facts. We have discussed many times that we have a lot of importance of previous knowledge. So definitely whatever we have learned earlier, we are going to compare it, we are going to connect it with already known it and with the new ideas and facts. And it is felt that in an inductive lesson, such a formula in algebra or the framing of a principle in science, compare that what was given to them with the result obtained after going through a certain process. So comparison and association, these are the two important terms which is very, very important for a student teacher to keep in mind. Whatever you are teaching, you have to make your students understand that they have to associate their previous knowledge also, and they have to compare it also. Then fifth part comes to presentation. This marks the commencement of the actual lesson and in what way we are going to teach. This is the step students where in evaluation based approach lesson planning, the teacher makes a statement of the aim in which he or she briefly tells the class that what they are about to learn on that particular day. This creates a readiness in the mind of the children and they know what they are about to learn. In presenting the lesson, the teacher carefully and skillfully arranges this material, tells new relevant facts and educates some very important principles by encouraging pupils to observe, compare, and contrast the fact presented to them. The presentation step must consist of a great deal of mental activity, and yes, we do have it on the part of the pupils. Even in an informative lesson, the teacher should talk as little as possible and makes the pupils talk as much as possible. So this is the part, you just remember your own lesson plans of 4 devices: prose, grammar, poetry, and composition. We have different sets of lesson plan and we do not lose our students at anywhere. We are just keeping them engaged all the time. This is the main task of presentation, because unless you are not going to keep them engaged, they are not, you will not be able to evaluate them properly. So this is very important. Then preparation part, according to Herbert, the mind of the child must be prepared to receive new knowledge. This step should be brief and nothing new should be told to students. There should be a link between the previous knowledge and new lesson. The steps may involve like skillful discussion, use of charts, pictures, models, arousing curiosity by the novelty of experimentation, testing of the previous knowledge. These are the important things that a teacher must take care if the teacher is teaching through evaluation based approach. Okay, so all the steps are actually in reversed manner. Herbartian based actually started with preparation part, introductory part, but here in this, B.S. Bloom has started his evaluation based lesson planning from recapitulation. So this is the main difference. Now let me tell you how we are going to do the evaluation. Okay, I'm sharing another PPT with you all. Yes,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Archita.
Ma'am, can you explain generalization part again?
Yes, I can. See, generalization is something when actually I'm actually intending to teach something when it is related to grammar topic, especially. Okay. Suppose I'm going to teach preposition to my students. Okay. Now I'm going to teach preposition in and into. Sorry, in and into. Use of in and into, how the preposition in is used and how the preposition into is used. With few examples, which is called inductive deductive method. With few examples, I'm going to explain it to my students that students, in this way, the preposition in and into is used. And in that, I'm going to give them structure of the sentence, and in after explaining that, and I'm taking, of course, I'm asking questions to them and I'm taking answers from them. And of course, after explaining that, I'm going to explain what is actually the main rule for applying preposition in a particular sentences and into in another type of sentences. So generalization is actually giving you the idea of applying a knowledge into different sets of situations or maybe sentences. Okay, एक ही बात को आप अलग अलग तरह से बहुत सारे sentences में सीख जाओगे. That is generalization. Understanding, Archita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so shall we proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'm sharing one PPT. So again, I have shared this. Okay, let me check. Okay, now please tell me, can you see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because there is nothing very hard, and I'm going to finish this topic today only, and then you are going to discuss. So evaluation approach, how it is working, just have a look how it is working. Sandeep Meena is coming now. Half of the class is gone. Now, evaluation is the process adopted according to the objectives, techniques, and tools of the evaluation. And it is mainly based on the approach of the evaluation. Approach of the evaluation, that means whatever the teacher has taught to the students, now the teacher is going to confirm in her or his own way whether the student have learned or not. Okay, this is evaluation approach. And how it is in operational form, let's have a look of it. That evaluation approach works in two ways. First, there is a formative evaluation, and secondly, there is summative type of evaluation. Okay, and class में आप जो भी पूछते जाए बच्चों से, जो भी आप hand to hand भी अगर कुछ करवा रहे, that is also included in formative evaluation. You have studied many times what is formative and what is summative evaluation type. So I'm just summing up it as like that only. It is conducted to monitor the instructional process to determine whether learning is taking place as planned. Then formative evaluation is used to monitor learning process, whatever the students are learning during the teaching process, during the design, during the development of a program, which is directed towards modifying, forming or otherwise improving the program before it is completed. कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है आपका लेसन, बट आप छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में उसको बांटकर पढ़ा रहे हो. नंबर 1, उन्हीं छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों को पढ़ाते हुए आप बीच बीच में स्टूडेंट्स से पूछ रहे हो क्वेश्चंस कि मैंने जो पढ़ा दिया है वो कितना उनके समझ में आया. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Rest of the students are sleeping, I suppose. Are you sleeping?
नहीं मैम.
Or eating?
नहीं मैम.
Or studying?
Yes ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm highly obliged. Okay, so let's understand characteristics of formative evaluation. कुछ भी नहीं है ऐसा जो आपने पहले नहीं पढ़ा है. I'm just doing in a haste way because I'm more interested in your interaction. और कल हमें साक्षी ने बहुत अच्छा interesting एक idea दिया. I'm going to apply that also. Characteristics of formative evaluation, how it works. Evaluation is done during the teaching learning process. Remember number 1. Okay, it is not out when the teaching learning process is finished. It is done during that time. It gives continuous feedback to teachers and students. Of course, it is my feedback also, how much well you do and how well you score in your exams. It is my scorecard also. It identifies strengths and weaknesses of both and teachers and students. If it is somewhere lacking, then teacher must do correct his or her teaching methodologies, teaching styles. And then if the learners are weak in some not proper somewhere, then learners must also work very hard to obtain that content. It helps in monitoring closely the teaching learning strategies during instruction. It is used to improve the performance of the students. And performance, how? Suppose you have taken 10 tests, class test, and out of 10, you are going to use only 5 for the final exams, and you are going to consider those only. But the student is continuously giving the test and the performance is improving. As you people are giving your test every Monday, isn't it? So it is easy to use and come out with immediate feedback. This is the main important characteristic of formative evaluation, that you immediately get the feedback that you have taught well or not. Now, merits of formative evaluation. Number 1, it gives immediate feedback. It is used during the process. There is a chance for everybody to improve. It is useful to students, teachers, and policymakers also. It helps for effective learning. Students are alert for all the time. Classroom environment is maintained. And now come to summative evaluation students. Summative evaluation वो होता है जो किसी कोर्स के एंड में लिया जाता है एग्जाम. That is called summative evaluation. As you have given your end semester examination, that was called summative evaluation. Okay, I think this difference is clear in your mind, is it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
Okay, so summative evaluation refers to assign a grade for learner achievement at the end of a term, semester, course, or instructional program. Now, nature of summative evaluation, let's have a look on that. It takes place at the end of the course. Number 1, it is designed. Please, don't hesitate in asking any point if you do not understand. And from my point of view, these are very easy points that my English students can very easily can explain and understand. So I'm just reading them. So it is designed to determine the extent to which the instructional goals have been achieved. It is actually achieving that in long terms. So it is done for assigning course grade. Definitely at the end of the course, you will be needing a proper grade, and that is only possible through your summative evaluation. Teacher-made achievement tests are generally used. There are no use of standardized tests. You are going to use teacher-made achievement tests. Whatever the test teacher has prepared for you, you have to do it. And generally, it is a pen paper test. Ratings on various types of performance and evaluation of product is used, formally done by an evaluator. Now, just see the characteristics of summative evaluation. Final outcome is evaluated. What and how much you have achieved from a course. It is done at the end of the session. Determines the achievement of objectives, behavioral objectives we have said. It gives descriptive analysis, feedback about achievement of the student is obtained. Examinations are commonly used at mass scale. You have seen your university exam. So not only you were giving the exams, but also other department students were also giving exams with you, isn't it? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
सारी यूनिवर्सिटी के एग्जाम एक साथ होते हैं ना. So this is the point that we follow strictly in summative evaluation. So difference between formative and summative evaluation, just have a look. There one side is formative and another side is summative. And formative says possible for reinforcing the learning and mastery of the learning through remedial teaching. आप फॉर्मेटिव में अगर बच्चे ने क्लास टेस्ट अच्छा नहीं किया, उसको रेमेडियल टीचिंग देकर आप उसको ठीक कर सकते हो. बट इन समेटिव इट कवर्स लार्ज ब्लॉक ऑफ कंटेंट एंड फाइनल अचीवमेंट ऑफ द लर्नर. अब ये फाइनल हो गया, अब रेमेडियल टीचिंग नहीं है इसमें, ठीक है. सो द स्कोप ऑफ रेमेडियल टीचिंग इज मोर इन फॉर्मेटिव टाइप ऑफ टीचिंग. देन second difference is there, conducted during the process of instruction, as I have told you, development of a program. But on the contrary, summative evaluation is done at the end of the program of completion. Then third is, it is for the benefit of internal audience or decision makers. So internal audience and decision makers are of course teachers and students. So it is helpful for them to improve their performance. Not only I'm talking about teachers, students, I'm talking about students also. So, but in summative, it is done for the benefit of external audience. And external audience, because the exams are given at the mass level, so external audience, definitely someone else may be setting the question paper and other people are doing checking. So many things that not a single person is going to do. Understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now it is done by many evaluators. So many teachers, so many evaluators. It is done by one evaluator at a time. For formative evaluation, different evaluation tools are used. Maybe you are taking it orally. Maybe you are taking your students outside the classroom and you are giving one experiment, one project, or anything you can ask them. But commonly, summative examinations are used for evaluation that is written or oral. Then in formative, the scores on each task are recorded in hierarchy. I told you that best 5 are chosen for the final grade, or maybe best 3, best 7 according to the policy of the particular institution. But in summative, it reports the total scales or grades average. Okay, so this is all about evaluation approach, students. So I have discussed about what is the evaluation approach, how it works, and in operational form, how it is working in the classrooms. So it is working in the classrooms in formative and summative style. Of course, you people are also giving these type of evaluations. You are appearing in that. Formative in the form of weekly test, midterm, and then summative in the form of end semester, and many other things you are doing. Okay, so evaluation based approach of lesson planning is always good because it will be bringing a good change in our students. All right. Okay, now hurry up. Now it's your turn to explain the content. Yes, please. And one more thing, आज की एक condition और है. Suppose the topic is same and you have to just tell me what you have learned. Okay. Suppose Archita is clarifying all the things and Archita has finished her speaking, and then Samiksha, Mayur, Dvaj and Sandeep, they will be asking two questions from Archita. I hope understand. I hope all of you have understood.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
आपको पहले अपना बताना है what you have understood, and then other classmates will ask only two questions each 2 questions. Okay, so I'm entertaining 6 questions from one student. Okay, for a student who is speaking answer. So let's start with Mayur Dhwaj today. Mayur Dhwaj, yes, please continue. And please, Samiksha, Archita, and Sandeep, you prepare your very good 2 questions that Mayur Dhwaj cannot answer. Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, I would like to tell that what is the meaning of evaluation-based learning plan, evaluation-based teaching approach. So, in evaluation-based teaching approach, we try to mold the teaching plan according to the other. In this kind of teaching program, the main aim is about teaching and also getting to know that how the teacher had how the student had learned, and is there any kind of difficulty in learning that, or the learning outcomes are good or not. So it is basically based on the fundamental thing that we are going to know that the student is learning or not. So the evaluation process is based on that. And if in this process, the whole process is basically changed in the last process which we have learned about from the Herbert's method. So this is a very contrasting method than that. In this method, there are few important elements. Like first is recapitulation, which was very which was the third number point in the last lesson, but here it is the first. Recapitulation means that we are when we go into the class, when we make the teacher statement, and after that we try to give the idea to the students that what we are going to learn today. And in that method, we have to assess that what kind of previous knowledge they have. So this is the part of recapitulation. Second is application. It is basically a thing that when we have taught into the class, then we have to try to find out that what kind of learning they are doing, and if the student is able to apply his knowledge in his life, or if he is able to explain the knowledge which he has gathered. So this is what we have to find out in the class. Next is generalization. Generalization is basically is a term which describes that how the student is going to explain the things with the general examples. And in generalization, what we do that we give general examples, and when within the examples we try to explain the concept to the students. And when we do that, we try to find out that if the student has get the matter, then he will be able to give the examples, and if he hasn't got the matter, then he will not be able to give the examples. And the very important point, another point is comparison and association. It is a very important point to note that when we teach, then we have to try that when we are teaching some method, then we have to narrate it, and in a way that we can give some examples which are related to the subject, and which are also related to the other worldly things or other things which are related to that particular concept. So if we do that, if we give some worldly examples, if we give some day life examples to the students, it will become easy for them to understand the things. And basically it helps us to assess them also, that if they are very comfortable with learning, and then that matter or the learning or the teaching skills should be changed. Next is, ma'am, presentation. Presentation basically means that how you are going to present your teaching material in the class. And if you present your teaching material in a very good way, so obviously the students are going to get it. And while presenting the matter, it should be very crisp, it should be very controlled, it should be very crisp, and it should be in a way so the students can easily understand the concept. And the last is, ma'am, preparation. Preparation basically means that when we try to plan the lesson, so we have to keep in mind a few things, like what kind of learning outcomes we are going to get, and how we are going to teach, what kind of teaching aids, what kind of examples, what kind of things we are going to plan to narrate in the class. So these are the things which we have to keep in mind. And next comes evaluation. Evaluation basically means that we try to find out that what kind of learning the student has done into the class or into this particular matter. So it is basically it is a process of finding out that what kind of learning the student has done. And if we talk about the types of evaluation, then there are two types of evaluation. The first one is formative. The second one is the summative. So the formative evaluation tells us about the thing that which we generally do in the class. Like when I'm teaching a topic of like feminist criticism. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
बेटा खाना ज्यादा खा लिया क्या?
नहीं मैम.
कहाँ जाने जल्दी, इतने भाग भाग के कहाँ जा रहे हो?
नहीं मैम, मैम टाइम नहीं है ना.
हाँ टाइम नहीं है, बट इट्स ओके, फाइन. ठीक है, आई एम स्टॉपिंग यू हियर ओनली. यस, अर्चिता, समीक्षा एंड संदीप, प्लीज योर क्वेश्चंस. No questions? Archita, Samiksha, are you preparing for your turn and not asking the questions?
Ma'am.
Okay,
my question would be, if we are doing a formative assessment, Mayur, we are doing a formative evaluation, assessment.
Yes, yes.
Okay, of pronouns, what would we be doing? Like, how would we do that?
You are asking me that how we should do the formative assessment in the class, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So there are many ways to do that. Like what we do that formative assessment basically means that the activities which we do in the class, like we can do that if I'm teaching something like related to a literature topic or something to, like noun. So we can if I can write a word on the board, and if I ask a student that in between the class, when I finish my teaching process, and after that when we try to get the examples from them, or we try to give them a task to do to solve something. So this can help us in doing some formative evaluation. We can do it by asking questions. We can do it by giving some tasks. We can do it by brainstorming also. These are the things which you can do to find out formative.
Okay, Samiksha, I will take only one question as time is running, and I have just opened your quiz also by 2:12. Archita, please ask one question from Mayur Twitch.
Ma'am, my question would be how will you make the evaluation process more efficient?
Okay.
I think ma'am, evaluation is basically a thing which defines that what kind of learning they have done, and every evaluation contains two parts: objective evaluation and the subjective evaluation. So it should contain these two things. Like if I'm assessing a student of class 6, then the evaluation process should be according to that the child. It should not include hard questions, or it should not include essay type of questions. But if we do evaluation of the 11th and 12th class students, then it should include the objective approach also, the critical approach also, and we should raise the questions level. So evaluation process, I think that it molds according to the level of the students, and it should also focus on objective and subjective phenomena of the concept.
Yes, Sandeep, your turn, please. Good question, Samiksha and Archita.
Hello.
Yes, Sandeep.
Yes, you are audible.
हेलो मैम, आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल अच्छे से आ रही है
मैम। पहले तो मेरे पास है ना क्वेश्चन इतने सारे हो गए, इनको कैसे पूछूं?
नो संदीप, यू
मैंने
मस्ट लर्न.
क्लास नहीं ली मैम, इसलिए मतलब क्वेश्चन ज्यादा हो रहे हैं, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि जैसे आपने अभी जो पढ़ाया है ना एवेल्युएशन में, जो 2 टाइप पढ़ाई है एवेल्युएशन की, ये पढ़ाई है तो ये मेरे समझ में आ गई, इनमें से मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
I'm just asking Sandeep, Mayur, your classmate has just given a short presentation, a short idea about it. And I had set a pattern that now today you are also going to ask some questions from him. So Samiksha और अर्चिता ने पूछ लिया, आप भी पूछिए. And it is mandatory for everyone. Compulsory है सबके लिए ये करना.
मैम ऐसे कंपलसरी है तो फिर एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है मेरे दिमाग में कि वैल्यूएशन के बेनिफिट्स क्या क्या हैं क्लासरूम में, ये बताए मयूर भैया, ये चीज बता दें.
Mayur, tell any two only.
And first thing, it gives us the knowledge that how the students are learning or what they have learned. The first thing is that, and it's basically.
मैम आवाज नहीं आ रही.
आ रही है, हमें तो आ रही है.
मैम मेरे को नहीं आ रही आवाज.
आप वीडियो ऑन करो जरा. अच्छा मयूर वीडियो ऑन कर बेटा। अब बोलो।
मैम मेरे अकॉर्डिंग द फर्स्ट थिंग इज कि इवैल्यूएशन करने से पता चलता है कि बच्चे ने क्या सीखा, कितना सीखा, वो जानने को मिल जाता है। और सेकंड चीज, अब जब बच्चे का इवैल्यूएशन करते हो तो उनकी सारी बातों से ये भी पता चल जाता है कि भाई अपने को कितना इंप्रूव करना है। या तो अपने को टीचिंग स्किल में चेंज करना है, या अपने को फिर जो है पढ़ाने के तरीके में थोड़ा कुछ चेंज करना है, या अपना जो मटेरियल है उसको प्रेजेंट करने के तरीके में कुछ चेंज करना है। तो बेसिकली इवैल्यूएशन टीचर और स्टूडेंट दोनों के लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी होती है।
ओके।
एक बार सभी वीडियो ऑन कर लो। अब मेरी बात को ध्यान से सुनो। समीक्षा ये फिर सो के पढ़ रही है लगता है। लिसन एवरीवन, नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है आपका 4th यूनिट पे एनसीईआरटी बेस्ड अप्रोच लेसन प्लान। ठीक है, लेट मी रिकन्फर्म इट। Yes, it is NCERT approach based lesson plan. NCERT approach based lesson plan क्या होता है, कैसे यूज होता है, and how we are going to teach and how the learner is going to learn, ये सारे क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल टॉक हम करेंगे in next coming class. Everyone be prepared with lots of explanation and questions to ask from your classmates. Okay, ये चीज कन्वे कर दीजिएगा सभी इंग्लिश के स्टूडेंट्स को कि ये नेक्स्ट क्लास कब होगी हमारी मयूर? आई थिंक नेक्स्ट थर्सडे।
यस।
ओके, सो थर्सडे हमारे 2 पीरियड होते हैं, हमारा ये 4th यूनिट फिनिश हो जाएगा। आई डोंट नो मैं कितना धीरे धीरे चलूं, फिर भी हमारी तो 4 यूनिट कंप्लीट हो गई हैं, बट डजंट मैटर, आप लोगों का बोलना इंपॉर्टेंट है। ओके, दिस विल एनहांस योर स्किल्स। ओके एवरीवन, टेक केयर। आज की क्लास फिर यहीं ओवर करते हैं, अपना आप क्विज अटेम्प्ट कर लीजिए। ओके,
थैंक यू।